Good afternoon and welcome to the first annual Game Time, NTS Game Time High School Football Kickoff. I'm Willie P. and I'm here with my good friend Coach Rob. How you doing, Coach?
I'm doing very well, very well, waiting for this season to get started.
Absolutely, man. We got some big games coming up this season, man. But let's put a spin on this thing. Let's go back and recap for the people who won, the 4A, 5A, and 6A state championships last year. Because to me, it came out of nowhere. A lot of those teams, man, besides, the 6A champ that we all familiar with was Katy.
hmm
They did their thing this year finally. So just to put a recap on it, who won the 6A Division One championship last year?
6A Division One, Galena Park North, which
Is
I
that a team out of Houston?
I've never heard until last year. I never heard of Galena Park North.
Me either, man.
I never, and I don't know if we'll hear of them again.
Probably won't, what I'm saying? Because right now, the way it's set up, man, you got a lot of teams in the North Texas area looking to rebound and get back in the game and restate their claim in the state of Texas.
Yeah, because last year we didn't have anyone representing on the football level of high school football from the Metroplex, which was definitely a disappointment because we had a lot of teams in the preseason of last year that we thought would be there in the end.
I think too what happened. A lot of those teams knocked each other off.
Yeah, it's so hard to get out of the Metroplex. I mean, we have a lot of talent in North Texas, a lot of talent.
And I know Katy won the Division Two, and Glen Allen Park won the Division One. You think those teams got a chance to repeat?
Honestly, this year, no. With the addition of DeSoto's new transfer quarterback and Cedar Hill being one of the top-ranked teams in the nation,
Right.
it's going to be very hard to get back to that stage.
Right. And so, you know what? Let's just stay in 6A, man. We got a lot of talent in 6A. And, let's run down a few of the quarterbacks that's out in 6A. We got this young kid out in South Lake. His name is Mason Holmes. And this kid, man, threw for over 2,500 yards last year, 38 touchdowns, and to only 5 interceptions. I mean, those are eye-popping stats.
That, you want your NFL quarterback with those kind of stats.
Maybe some Tony Romo type of stats.
5 interceptions on the whole season.
Whole season, 38 touchdowns.
That's a lot of passing.
And,
A lot of accurate passing.
speaking of South Lake, they're going to be in the mix too. They had a pretty good season last year also, but they looking to rebound and get back in this in this thing too, man. They in a pretty tough division. I mean district though. I think they're in the district with let's see, I think Trinity. They're in the district with Trinity. Trinity is always a powerhouse.
Yeah, you can. And Trinity's run game is always. Those are two totally different teams. You have South Lake, who's pass heavy, spread heavy, and Trinity lines up double tight end, run it down your throat. So I can't wait to see within that division. That's another little rivalry that I would like to see come into fruition.
Oh yeah, and then they got a host of Louisville schools in there, Louisville, Flower Mound, and Hebron and Louisville, Flower Mound Marcus. Actually, Flower Mound Marcus had a pretty good season last year too. They finished this regular season 10-1.
Yeah, every few years, Flower Mound Marcus comes with something, and you look up and you're like, whoa.
Oh,
Yeah.
absolutely. And speaking of the kid over the new transfer into DeSoto, Mr. Sean Robinson, do you think with that addition, do you think they can get over the hump of beating the Cedar Hill?
I really do. He's a talent in himself, and he's a known leader within the Metroplex on the field. So, yeah, he can take them over the hump. It's all in. Are the rest of the offensive players going to follow his lead with him being a new acquisition this season?
Oh, absolutely. Man, let's move on to another quarterback. It's a kid out of Collierville Heritage. A lot of people don't know about him. His name is Camden Rourke. I might be abusing the name.
We'll do a lot of that
Camden
this season.
Rowan. But this kid, man, he's a junior. He's be a senior next year. He threw for over 2,300 yards last year also, and with 21 touchdowns and 9 interceptions. I mean, it's a lot of unheard, quarterbacks around here, man, with these eye-popping numbers. Some of it can be, I ain't going to say fabricated, but, the lack of talent that they're playing against, they can run up the stats a little bit because a lot of high school teams does that.
And then, too, with the spread offenses that are ran so much now, I mean, there's a lot of at the line of scrimmage passes or 5-yard passes that can add to those stats to make them a little deceivable sometimes.
Oh, absolutely, man. Absolutely. But, I don't know how you see 6A shaping out in the North Texas, right here in the DFW area. What are some of the other heavyweight teams besides DeSoto and Cedar Hill, in your opinion?
I mean, when you look at the list, I mean, you can never not look at Allen.
Right.
Never not look at Allen. But, I mean, once you get past those three, I mean, those are the three powerhouses in the area.
Right.
Especially this season.
Right.
It'd be hard to put anybody else up there with those three.
Hey, I tell you what though, let's hold it right there because I got some teams on the other side of the ward over in the Arlington district over there that I want to talk about. But we're going to be right back. We're going to take a break.
Okay.
How you like that?
Are you tired of renting your home from year to year? Is your family tired of switching schools? Or are you the homeowner ready to move to a new community? My name is Jay Hodge, Managing Real Estate Agent for JK Global Investments. I dedicate each and every day to helping people just like you that are ready to call a house a home. Our specialized programs help many families in many situations get the home they deserve. If you don't know where to start to buy or sell your home, your first step is to call me, Jay Hodge. Let's work together. Call me at 972-884-0646 right now. That's 972-884-0646 to take your first step to buying or selling your home.
And we're back here on Game Time. I'm Willie P, and this is my co-host, Coach Rob. Now, before the break, we were talking about some of the top teams in the area. I know you mentioned Cedar Hill, DeSoto, and you threw Allen in there.
Yeah.
I got to give some teams over in Arlington some love, too, because they've been going pretty deep. You know, we had Arlington Martin with Coach Bob Wagner over there. Yeah, I mean, he schedules all big-time teams every year. I think the first 4 games of this season now, they've scheduled Allen, South Lake, I think it was Trinity, and then they have Arlington Bowie. I mean, those first 4 games at the gate, man. I'm thinking I might be misquoting that Euless Trinity game, but I know Allen and South Lake is on the schedule. They're like the first 2 games.
Whoa,
And I'm
he's
like,
confident in his talent.
Oh man, he does that every year, man. He does that every year. You know, sometimes he take a beating for it. You know what I'm saying? But before the beating, you know what I mean, after the beating, you know, he really, you know what I'm saying, they pretty much ran the district the last 3-4 years.
Well, I mean, if you start off with, like, say, one of the top powerhouses in the area, if not the nation, every season, that can have a way of getting your boys ready.
Oh yeah, ain't no doubt, man. Ain't
And
no
that
doubt.
chew out from that game will get your boys ready.
Absolutely, but too, man, we had to go a little bit north. You know, you got those teams like Saxe and you know, Mesquite. You know, usually just traditional powerhouse teams. I think some of those teams are going to start bouncing back, man. They got some talent out in Saxe. I can tell you that right now.
Yeah, in the Mesquite area, you always have some athletes coming out of Mesquite, whether it's Horn or North Mesquite.
Matter of fact, North Mesquite got a pretty good quarterback over there, man. They went pretty deep last year too in the playoffs. He's a pretty good quarterback. He's a dual threat quarterback. I can't think of his name right now, but yeah, I'll get it here in a minute.
Yeah.
But
So
Noah
you know him
Mesquite,
on the field.
Yeah, I know him on the field. And I actually kind of know him a little personally too. You know what I'm saying? I got personal ties to him, but he actually, held that team together last year. I think they went like 10-1, 11-1 before they went into the playoffs and they lost. I think they went 2 or 3 rounds deep in the playoffs last year though.
Yeah, you can't beat that at all.
But hey, I'm gonna give you a list of some of these running backs, man, up in 6A, man, because I know one in particular, and this kid over in Mansfield, Kennedy Brooks. Man, this kid is all world, man. That kid had over 3,500 yards last year and 43 touchdowns.
40. You hope to have 43 touchdowns in a high school career.
Right.
He had 43 in a season.
In a season.
A season.
Wow.
That's little. That's not even little league numbers. That's Madden numbers.
You can't even fabricate those kind of numbers.
Yeah,
Right?
he's playing video games with these boys.
Oh yeah, if you just writing down some numbers, you couldn't even write those numbers down, man. Somebody think you just telling them a lie. Some 43 touchdowns. Really?
That's a man child.
Some teams don't even score 43 touchdowns in the whole step.
Yeah,
I'm talking
as
about
a
the
team.
This kid had 43 touchdowns. And, they moved over from out of the district with DeSoto and Cedar Hill into 4-6A, which is the Arlington schools.
Mm-hmm.
And it's going to be their first year back in that district in, I think 3 or 4 years. So we're going to see how it goes, man. I don't know if he can keep duplicating that 3,500 yards. But,
That's
he's going to be a sight to see, man. If I, had to tell anybody, man, go see this kid play, man. It'll be an awesome treat for him.
It's gonna be nice to watch him on Saturdays.
Oh yeah, he's a next level
he's
kid.
He's gonna
Ain't
be
no
a
doubt.
Saturday player.
He's a next level kid. But it's got another kid. His name is Kobe Morrow out in Rowlett. He had over 1,600 yards and over 20 touchdowns. So I think Rowlett, they have a pretty good day. They got some good receivers out there.
Mm-hmm.
This kid named Sam Crawford and Ladarius Dickens. Both of these guys are D1 caliber kids. They had over 1,400 yards. And one had 1,459. The other had over 1,300 yards, respectively. And man, Rowlett's going to be a force to reckon with too.
That sounds like a balanced offense.
Absolutely.
When you have 2 D1 style receivers and running back, you can't not pay attention to someone.
I know.
They're doing something in Rowlett.
Oh, absolutely, man. Then we can go. We're going over to Cedar Hill, where you got Cameron Buckley and Charleston Rambo. That's another dual threat receiver with the little quarterback over there has. I think his name Avery. What's that boy's name? Avery Davis. That's his name. Avery Davis. And he's a dual threat himself. Matter of fact, he passed for over 1,900 yards and 22 touchdowns and had over 800 yards rushing. So and then with the kid, I'm flipping back and forth, but I'm saying with him and Sean get on the field.
Yeah.
Man, that's going to be a sight to see. It's going to be a treat for everybody that's in the building. And plus, Sean, he has a nice little receiver, too. He got a couple guys over there. But in particular, K.D. Nixon. KD's I think he's a 4-year starter on varsity. Mm-hmm. And, he's been everything what a coach asked for. You know what I'm saying? He's a leader, and he's one of those guys that, is going to come out and give you all he got.
That's going to make that Cedar Hill and DeSoto game very interesting this year.
Wow.
Because you have so many athletes and so many D1 talent young men on the field at one time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm ready for that game. I'm ready for that game now.
So put a bow tie on this thing. How do you see, what is your top 5 right now in 6A football in the DFW Metroplex area? Give me your top 5.
Top 5. I'm gonna have to go with Cedar Hill.
Cedar Hill 1?
Cedar Hill.
Okay.
DeSoto.
Okay.
Allen.
Okay.
And then the rest are 6A.
I like your top 3. But I throw Capel in there.
Yeah, Capel.
I throw Capel in there. And I'm throwing Saxey in there.
Now, let me ask you, do you think Capel and Saxey can do anything with either one of the top 3?
I think they can compete, but I don't think they were actually. Me personally, hold on, I'm going to back up a little bit. Me personally, I don't think Allen is as good as everybody think they are this year. Because I'm speaking on because I'm looking at the quarterback situation.
Okay.
And I think they're bringing in another new quarterback. This kid they had last year was a transfer kid. He transferred in.
Mm-hmm.
And I think he was I don't know if he was a junior, senior. I think he was a senior. So they're actually breaking in another quarterback. So, I think it might be, me personally, the year of Allen being down.
It could be, but Allen has so many students. You never know who's going to walk on that field.
They got over 6,000 kids.
Yeah, and it's crazy. You never know who's going to walk on that field and give them what they need.
True. True.
I mean, they have 3 football teams in one.
You're absolutely
You
right.
got to be able to find some talent out of all them boys.
You're absolutely right. But hey, that's your spin on 6A football. How far do you think Cedar Hill or whoever comes out of that? Because I'm with you. Either one of those two teams, and most likely the way it's looking, they're going to be small 6A.
Yeah.
Meaning they're going to go Division 2.
Mm-hmm.
And I see one of them, if they get in there, whoever wins that game is really state champion.
Yeah, and I see it the same way. It's going to, as of right now, it's going to come down to those two teams. Who survives out of those two teams? Because they have to see each other.
Yeah.
Then it's a long season with injuries, but yeah, it's who's going to survive out of those two teams for 6A.
They're
in
going
my
to get
book.
real familiar with each other.
Very. They have to. They already are.
I feel you. But hey, we're going to go take a quick break, and we're going to go into 5A football once we come back from this break. I'm Willie P., and it's Coach Rob.
Are you tired of renting your home from year to year? Is your family tired of switching schools? Or are you the homeowner ready to move to a new community? My name is Jay Hodge, Managing Real Estate Agent for JK Global Investments. I dedicate each and every day to helping people just like you that are ready to call a house a home. Our specialized programs help many families in many situations get the home they deserve. If you don't know where to start to buy or sell your home, your first step is to call me, Jay Hodge. Let's work together. Call me at 972-884-0646 right now. That's 972-884-0646 to take your first step to buying or selling your home.
Hey, we back. This is Willie P.
Coach Rob.
Say, Coach, before the break, man, we was, you know what I'm saying, let's make a correction because somebody asked who was the kid with the 43 touchdown. It was Kennedy Brooks out of Mansfield, if you guys didn't know. Look him up.
Can't forget that. Kennedy Brooks out of Mansfield. You don't get 43 touchdowns and not get remembered.
Exactly. Look him up.
Just run over the past last season state champions for 5A since we're going to hit 5A. Division 2, we had Cedar Park, and Division 1, we had Richmond George. There's another. I've never heard of Richmond George.
Me either. I mean, where is Richmond George? Is that
Is it in
not
Richmond?
Austin area somewhere?
I don't know.
Huh. I
Richmond,
guess we got to
Texas?
brush up on that a little bit. I don't know.
Yeah, I've never heard of Richmond
Somebody
George.
tell us where Richmond George at.
But obviously they were good enough to make state last year.
Absolutely. You know what I'm saying? Everybody got, I ain't gonna say that. I might get in a little trouble. But everybody have their day.
And I actually got to see that Cedar Park game
Uh-huh.
last year against Frisco Lone Star.
Okay.
Yeah, so they have a little
It's
talent.
a pretty decent game.
Yeah, they have a little talent.
I mean, I'm gonna tell you something about those Frisco teams, man. Those Frisco teams are coming up, man.
They are.
Hey, They got so many different names out there. You know what I'm saying? There's Frisco this and Frisco that and Frisco this, but
Mhm.
man, they are putting it together out there. I can tell you that though.
And now with the new Cowboys Star facility
Oh,
for
yeah.
training, they can practice where the Cowboys practice.
They got the best of both worlds. man.
Yeah, you better be good.
Hey, let's start the thing out. What are some of your top teams in 5A, man? I know one for in particular with me is Lancaster. They are
And
always there every year.
That's exactly where I was going with it. I follow Lancaster, whether it's football or basketball. And last year, their football team, they had a slew of talent, especially at the receiver position.
Wow.
Yeah, so
Wow.
they run their spread offense and they move the ball around. They have a lot of speed and a lot of athletes, and their defense is fast as well. So for me, this season, looking at them making it far in the playoffs last year and losing to Frisco Lone Star, I look for Lancaster to really move full speed ahead and do something this year.
Oh, no doubt. You know what I'm saying? Then you got to look at the Mansfield schools, the Mansfield Lake Ridge, Legacy, and Timberview.
Yeah.
All of those schools did pretty well last year. And now, that's in that district, they have Midlothian in that district now. Midlothian dropped down from the 6A down to 5A. I mean, that district going to be really, really competitive, man. I can see that because, like I said, those Mansfield schools did pretty well last year.
Right, and speaking of Lake Ridge, I mean, Lake Ridge made it deep into the playoffs last year, losing right before state with Jet Duffy at quarterback, which he committed to Texas Tech. He's gone now, so I don't know how good Lake Ridge will be coming out of that district this year, losing their star quarterback.
It's gonna be tough.
It's real tough.
It's gonna be tough. But hey, let's hit on some of these quarterbacks that they do have in 5A in particular. Emilio Amos. I might be butchering your name again. I'm sorry, bro. But this kid, man, he threw for over 2,900 yards last year and 23 touchdowns. And, he's 6'4", 210. I mean, he looks like the prototypical type of quarterback.
Yeah, and coming out of Wiley at that, I mean, you generally don't hear of that type of quarterback coming out of a area of Wiley High School. So to see that's good for that program and also good for that young man to get that exposure.
Absolutely. I got another one for you too. Some of these kids, man, a lot of people, they don't get the time, they don't get a lot of exposure. But you got to take it as it is. But I see this kid, Amari Jones, man. He's a dual threat quarterback. I mean, he threw for over almost 1,700 yards and 18 touchdowns and 5 interceptions. But also he ran for another 1,000 yards, man. He plays at Frisco Heritage. I mean, that's one of those, another of those Frisco schools. You know what I'm saying?
You have to put a spy on that young man.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed.
And then he's going to kill you with the slant while you spying.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, and then another kid, man, that you might not have heard of, his name is Caleb Fletcher out of Mesquite Poteet.
Okay,
And he threw for over almost 2,000 yards and 22 touchdowns, to 8 interceptions. I mean, traditionally, you know what I'm saying, those Mesquite schools do well, too, with quarterbacks.
Yeah, definitely.
And he's one of those guys, 5'11", 175, so that means he probably has some wheels on him, too.
At 5'11", he have to have some wheels because you don't get that long to jump up and down behind that offensive line looking for a receiver.
Absolutely not. You don't have to. Hey, is you one read and go?
One read and go.
One read and go, man. One read and go. It's all good, man. But hey, we're going to go to a few running backs over there in that area, too, on the 5A level. The guy by the name that jumps to me is from Frisco, Wakeland. I go by the name of Jay Orgy.
Okay.
Almost 2,000 yards. He had over 1,900 yards, 19 touchdowns.
Can't beat that. He
Can't
basically a touchdown for every 100 yards.
Pretty much.
I'll
Pretty
take
much.
that.
Oh, yeah.
That's what I want from my running back.
Absolutely. And then another kid, Matthew Gadak, he was a sophomore. This kid was a sophomore. He ran for almost 1,500 yards, 15 touchdowns out of McKinney High.
So we got 2 more years of him coming out of McKinney.
Absolutely.
1,500 yards as a sophomore.
Absolutely.
He may have a 2,000-yard season in his future.
There you go.
I see it.
And here's another one of those Mansfield kids, Mansfield Legacy, Cameron Sessions. He'll be a senior this year. And he ran for over 1,300 yards and had 15 touchdowns.
I think that says a lot for the Mansfield area linemen. They have to have some of the top linemen coming out of the area when you producing running backs with those type of stats. Somebody has to block.
Oh, yeah. Oh yeah.
That says a lot.
I mean, to me, I mean that the talent at that level, you know what I'm saying, it's not a big drop off from 6A to 5A to me.
It's not.
It's
I
not, it's just the matter of what your scheme is and how you can, put in your game plan to get it done. You know what I mean? There's a lot of 5A teams that beat 6A teams. I mean,
Yeah.
a lot of people got this perception, oh, we 6A, we bigger, we better. No. Pump your brakes a little bit.
Exact. Couple years ago, I got to watch South Oak Cliff High School and Cedar Hill High School go at it, which definitely not in the same district.
Right.
And South Oak Cliff gave them a run for their money for a while. I think just the battle of attrition. So that goes to show, just because you don't have that many students, you can still pack a punch.
Oh, absolutely. We're going to just keep it moving, man. We're going to go. I got some receivers that's in 5A that I think, that are really notable. One kid out of South Garland.
Okay.
His name is Brodus Matthews. 5'10", 165. Had almost 800 yards receiving last year.
That's
6
nice.
touchdowns. Another kid comes to mind, Justin Kane. He's from Woodrow Wilson.
Okay.
6 foot, 170, almost right over 751 yards receiving. And last but not least, a 6'1" kid, Zachariah Jackson out of Mansfield Lake Ridge.
Lake Ridge, that's another.
You know what I'm saying?
They're going to have to make sure you got a quarterback.
Hey.
'Cause that Jet Duffy's gone.
Hey,
See, and if he can put the same stats up or better under a whole different quarterback, that says a lot for that receiver. I think that's going to get a lot of colleges looking at him when you can adapt to different quarterbacks that quick and keep producing. So I definitely want to watch him all season and see how he comes out toward the end.
Absolutely. I'm feeling you, man. But in District 8, we got Colleyville Heritage. Now, traditionally, they dropped down from 6A last year. They dropped down to 5A. And they're in the district with a lot of the Fort Worth schools in Grapevine, North Richland Hills, and that group right there. North Richland Hills, Richland. I mean, to me, I look at them as the favorite in that division, in that district, District 8.
And they're not too far from my home. I actually drive by there and see their players practicing a lot at Colleyville Heritage. They have some big linemen over there.
Oh, yeah.
So if their running back can get those wheels turning, he
Yeah.
definitely has some blockers out in front of him.
Oh, yeah. You can't miss District 6 either with Aledo, Azle, Fort Worth, Boswell, Saginaw, White Settlement. You know what I mean? That district is pretty good, but it's been pretty much dominated by Aledo.
Yeah. Aledo always brings something to the table pretty much every year. Even a bad year is a good year in Aledo. It's football town.
Absolutely. But we're going to move on to District 11. We got Conrad, Hillcrest, Jefferson, Kimball, Samuel, and South Oak Cliff, and Spruce. Now, traditionally, Sock always have a pretty decent talent.
Yeah.
And Kimball do too, you know what I'm saying? So out of that district, who do you see coming out of that district?
Honestly, it would have to be one of those two teams from just the quick glance. I actually spoke with one of Kimball's defensive backs over the weekend, and he told me Kimball has a state championship this year in their hand.
Really?
That's what he told me.
Really? In 5A
that's
football?
That's what he told me.
Okay.
He said Kimball is ready this year, so I'm going to take his word for it. I'm not going to put the house up on his word, but I'll take his word for it because I know the type of talent that slides through South Oak Cliff.
Right.
So I can't just give Kimball that edge. That's a game I definitely want to see.
Okay.
Definitely want to see that South Oak Cliff Kimball game.
Well, let's hold it right there. We're going to come back. We're going to finish talking about South Oak Cliff and Kimball battle with Kimball winning state championship in 5A. It's the NTS game, Willie B and Coach Rob.
Are you tired of renting your home from year to year? Is your family tired of switching schools? Or are you the homeowner ready to move to a new community? My name is Jay Hodge, Managing Real Estate Agent for JK Global Investments. I dedicate each and every day to helping people just like you that are ready to call a house a home. Our specialized programs help many families in many situations get the home they deserve. If you don't know where to start to buy or sell your home, your first step is to call me, Jay Hodge. Let's work together. Call me at 972-884-0646 right now. That's 972-884-0646 to take your first step to buying or selling your home.
And we're back live here at NTS Game Time Show. I'm Willie P.
And I'm Coach Rob talking about some Texas high school football
Absolutely.
preseason prospects.
Absolutely. But we doing a little jumping around from district to district. You know what I'm saying? Let's jump to District 15 with Highland Park, Forney, Lovejoy, Mesquite, Poteet, Ross City, West Mesquite, and Wiley East.
Lovejoy. I actually
did pretty well
watched-
last year.
Yeah, they I didn't get to see that particular squad. I remember them from basketball season, so
Okay.
I know they have some athletes out there. So you say they
Absolutely.
were pretty strong last
They were pretty
year.
strong last year, man. I didn't really follow them like that, you know what I'm saying? Sometimes I just, looked on the internet and see who did what,
Right.
on the Friday night highlight scores. But they actually came up a lot, you know what I'm saying? But I look at West Mesquite, they traditionally, have a pretty nice squads over there. I know some people over there, man, and those guys usually have pretty decent teams over there. But the mainstay for me in that district is Highland Park.
Highland Park, and that's what I was about to get back to because, I mean, the coaching staff always seems to put together something to put on that field that's worth watching.
Absolutely.
Every year. It never fails.
Yeah, those guys come with it, man. But then you got District 13 with all the Frisco schools.
That's about
Well, I had to
22
name
schools.
all of
ain't
them. Centennial, Heritage, Independence, Liberty, Lone Star, Reedy, and Wakeland.
it? Man, you would think Frisco is a state.
They got their own state.
they
They
really
got their
are.
own leagues.
Yeah, they really are. And they have some talent. I mean, you just thinking right offhand, you say Frisco. You say,
Right.
we probably run through Frisco, but Frisco will actually surprise you because they have a lot of top tier talent coming out of that area.
Oh, no doubt. You know what I'm saying? That, my pick in that, I might go with Frisco, Wakeland.
Well, I'm going to have to go with Lone Star because Shelley, the returning quarterback for Lone Star, I got to watch him last season. And as a dual threat, and especially with his legs, he will hurt you.
He can play.
Pure athlete.
Ball and ball. Do a
Pure
threat.
athlete.
Wow.
Yeah, he's nice. He's entertaining and fun to watch, fundamentally sound,
Okay.
and has all of those extra tricks in his bag.
There you go.
Yeah.
You heard from Coach Rob. Say he's the
Watch
guy.
out for Shelley at Lone Star Frisco.
One more district, District 17, Corsicana, Ennis, Jacksonville, Lindale, Nacogdoches, White House.
Watch White House during basketball season. I really don't know a lot about White House football team.
Right.
Watching their basketball team, I wouldn't bet on White House winning that district. Just looking athletic wise, Ennis always has some guys with a motor on them. So I would definitely look out for Ennis in that district.
I'm an Ennis and Corsicana guy. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
The Battle of 287. If people who don't know about the Battle of 287, trust me. And you can throw Waxahachie in there, but they're not in the same district. But That battle of 287, hey man, they go down.
And Waxahachie, they have some athletes. I've watched some of their guys go from their little league program out there and going and feeding into their high school program.
They got some good kids.
Yeah,
out there in
they
Waxahachie,
got some athletes.
Matter of fact,
out
they
there.
got a former Cowboy as their head coach out there, John Kidner.
Yeah, John Kidney
He's
is
the
out
head
there.
coach out there.
Hey, and he definitely has a heart of a champion.
Yeah, they putting it together out there, man. I like that. You know what I'm saying? Waxahachie, like I said, traditionally are pretty decent. But if I had to take a pick out of Ennis and Corsicana, I'm taking Ennis.
I'm riding with Ennis, right
Ennis
with
it
you.
is.
The
Ennis it
Ennis
is.
busted, we getting on.
Hey, but you give a side note, you know what I'm saying? But NTS game is doing what games are we covering? Because we're covering DeSoto, and just do a little highlight on the games that we're doing with DeSoto.
Right, because we will be doing home and away games for DeSoto. We have our first broadcast of the season with NTX game, the kickoff weekend, August 26th. We have DeSoto versus Dallas Jesuit.
Hey, and Jesuit is a good team.
Yeah,
I'm gonna tell you right now, DeSoto those kids are fundamentally sound on the Jesuit.
very
I've
disciplined.
actually watched Jesuit because Arlington Bowie played Jesuit the last 2 years. We beat them in Arlington, and they beat us over in Jesuit. And I mean, they are fundamentally sound. DeSoto has the talent to beat that team.
Oh, yeah.
But I mean, they're gonna give them all they have.
They can't sleep on Jesuit.
No,
Sleeping
no, not
on
at all.
Jesuit would have them napping at the second half.
No, yeah, yeah.
And then we also, that same weekend, August the 27th, the next day, is the Lone Star Sports Classic. We have Bishop Dunn versus Deer Park, Ozen versus Episcopal, and Port Arthur versus Bay Hill. That Episcopal always
And
gets me.
where's he gonna be played at?
These are the Lone Star Classic, and it's going to be in Beaumont,
Oh, Beaumont.
on August 27th.
Okay.
So we'll be doing those games. That's the NTX game kickoff weekend, August 26th and 27th. And I'm actually I'm ready to see Ozen. I got to watch their basketball team at State this past year lose, but they were there.
Okay.
So hey, I know they have some athletes as well. So I'm kind of I'm interested in that Ozen and Episcopal game.
Okay. Hey, and not to just keep jumping back and forth, but I want to highlight that Cedar Hill is actually playing Bishop Gorman, the team out of Nevada.
That's a big game.
It's gonna be a
this
big game
season.
too. And DeSoto got a couple of ESPN games too, right?
Yes, they do. DeSoto will be playing Denton Geyer this year. We'll be broadcasting that game as well,
okay.
and it'll be on ESPN. And that's going to be a big game.
Huge
Denton,
game.
Yeah, Denton Geyer usually comes with some, and we already know DeSoto is one of the top teams in the nation. But dropping back to that Cedar Hill Bishop Gorman. I mean, you have two of the top teams in the nation. And word is there already has some Twitter beef.
What?
Between the high school kids and a little chatter going back and forth.
That
and,
makes for good football.
yeah,
you know what
I'm
saying?
ready.
Them guys coming out of Nevada, they're gonna get welcome to Texas football.
I may wear some face paint to that game.
What color is gonna be?
It has to be Cedar Hill. We in Texas, red and black. Red and black. I may ride a Longhorn to that
Gotta
game.
Stay with the home team, right?
Yeah, gotta stay with the home team. You can't come to Texas and get a victory.
No, we gotta show them
No.
boys and send them back to Vegas with what they came with a loss.
Exactly, with an L.
Yeah.
Back to the L with an L.
There you go. But hey, those are some of the games that we're highlighting this season at the NTS game. That but it's gonna be many more to come. But hey, let's jump into 4A, man. We're gonna jump down into 4A real quick.
Yeah, 4A.
No, go. You
4A last season, District 2, the state champions in that district was West Orange Stark. District 1 was Waco La Vega. I've never heard of Waco La Vega. I know Waco High School. I never heard of La Vega.
It might be in Waco.
Yeah, it probably is. Somewhere around Baylor.
Might be in Waco.
Yeah, but
Hey, for all y'all on Facebook, don't bash us, man. We just having fun. You know what I'm saying? If we mispronounce some of your schools and we don't know where your school at, hey, let us know.
Texas is huge. It's a lot of schools.
Oh yeah, no doubt.
But I'm interested to see, especially in that 4A division, can either one of those two teams make it back to state? Because 4A has some athletes in it.
Yes, they do. And like I said, the competition level, it might tinkle a little bit, you know what I'm saying, from 6A to 4A. But hey, it doesn't diminish that you got some teams out there like in District 5, like Kennedale. Kennedale is a powerhouse.
Yes.
I know Kennedale can beat a lot of teams.
Good coaching staff.
They got a real good coaching staff over there, and those guys, For the last 3-4 years, I know they won over 10 games each season.
That's,
I can pull up the
consistent.
numbers, man. They've been consistent, and they are actually the district they're in. They're in there with Fort Worth, Diamond Hills, Lake Worth, Mineral Wells, River Oaks, Castleberry, and Springtown.
Lake Worth usually comes with
Yeah,
a
Lake
little
Worth has
something.
a nice little spot too. Matter of fact, Lake Worth got a young guy that's at quarterback. Which I'm just going to spin on into it. His name is Monte Kimball. He was
Okay.
a freshman last year. This kid was a freshman, dual threat, passed for over 11, almost 1,200 yards, and top that off, he ran for 794.
Freshman.
11 touchdown passing. He had his interception deal. It was a little high, 10 interception, but he ran for almost 800 yards with another 12 touchdowns as a true freshman.
Can't let him get outside the tackle.
So Kennedy gonna have something to handle.
Yeah.
They got something to record with this young kid, this young guy over in Lake Worth, man.
They work with him on his arm, get those interceptions down, drop 5 of them interceptions and bump up 5 touchdowns.
Absolutely.
Keep them rushing yards there or better.
Yeah.
You got to deal with them.
Oh yeah.
Gotta
Oh, yeah.
deal with 'em.
And we can spin this thing on into District 6. You got Alvarado, Carrollton, Ranchview. You got Dallas Carter, Hutchins, Pinkston, and Midlothian Heritage.
Okay, I'm going to go ahead and cross out Pinkston.
You gonna cross out Pinkston?
I'm going to cross out Pinkston.
Why would you do that?
I'm-
I like Pinkston, man. I got
like
ties to Pinkston.
I like Pinkston too, but like I said,
on,
when it comes to the house and the money, I can't put it on Pinkston. Pinkston gonna let you down.
Y'all can bash him, don't bash me.
It's just football.
I'm giving y'all a shot.
It's just football.
I'm giving you a shot, but it's slim.
Let me ask you this:
Yeah.
Do you think Pinkston will be able to do anything with Carter this year?
No,
Okay.
no.
And that says a lot. Now Hutchins and Pinkston might be okay game. Hutchins will still take it, but it'll be an okay game. But I just
I don't know, man. It's tough. You know what I'm saying? Hey, but Alvarado is.
and that's who I'm looking at. Alvarado, I'm like, but
Yeah.
I think that district is pretty much open for the taking.
Yeah, it's pretty much.
I really
open.
do.
Hey.
Pinkston might surprise us.
Hey, just my surprise. But I'm gonna tell you what. You will find out the surprise when we come back in a few minutes. This is Willie P.
And Coach Rob.
on NTS Game.
Are you tired of renting your home from year to year? Is your family tired of switching schools? Or are you the homeowner ready to move to a new community? My name is Jay Hodge, managing real estate agent for JK Global Investments. I dedicate each and every day to helping people just like you that are ready to call a house a home. Our specialized programs help many families in many situations get the home they deserve. If you don't know where to start to buy or sell your home, your first step is to call me, Jay Hodge. Let's work together. Call me at 972-884-0646 right now. That's 972-884-0646 to take your first step to buying or selling your home.
And we're back with it here at NTS Game on Game Time. I am Willie P.
And Coach Rob.
Say, Coach, before we went to break, man, we were talking about the youngster out there in Lake Worth, Monte Kimball. But I got another kid that, that you might be interested in, hearing his stats. His name is Victor Parker, and he's from Roosevelt. My wife graduated from Roosevelt. So she always hollering Velt dog, so we got to give Velt some love.
That's
what I'm
crazy.
saying?
My mother graduated. She was actually the football queen her senior year at
Really?
Roosevelt. Yes.
And Velt.
Yes, sir.
Well, Velt dog in the house.
Yeah.
That's what my wife said. Dude. But this kid, man, Victor Parker, he's a sophomore.
Okay.
He was a sophomore. He's going to be his junior year coming up. He threw for over 1,000 yards, 7 touchdowns, 3 interceptions. The numbers are not eye-popping, but, you know what I'm saying, considering the level that, those guys are playing at,
Right.
hey, man, and then he's a sophomore. He's only going to get better.
He has 2 more years to enhance his skills on the field. And truth be told, Roosevelt has some talent on that varsity and that JV team.
Okay.
From last year, they have some talent that's coming up to varsity this year. So,
So they got some
Roosevelt is
stuff coming up the
predicted
pipe.
to be pretty strong.
So they got some stuff coming up the pipeline.
Definitely.
Hey, matter of fact, I know he has a real nice target to throw to, and this kid named Donovan Davidson. He's a junior. He had over 692 yards receiving and 5 touchdowns. 6 foot, 173, big kid.
Yeah, and he's still growing.
Yeah.
He's still growing. With those attributes that he exhibits on the field, it's going to be fun to watch him grow this season and become the receiver that he's destined to be. They have a lot of players, at the lower level, feeding in from the junior high schools in the area, feeding into Roosevelt. So they're looking to be good for the next few years coming forward.
I feel you. But give me a prediction on someone in 4A, if you can name them, winning. Coming out of this area. What teams do you like coming out of this area?
I can never bet against Carter.
Okay.
I can never bet against Carter because
Cowboys.
they have a way of finding some talent in that area. And speaking of, I'm anxious to see what Roosevelt does, just because I've actually had a chance to speak to their coaching staff this season, and seen some of the boys working out in the off season. And they've been working hard. They've been in the weight room. They've been on the field. They've been in the playbook. So I'm anxious to see what they can do. And I just know the Roosevelt of old was a powerhouse coming through the Metroplex. So I'm anxious to see if they can get back to that level, which they say they're on their way back to.
Yeah, they've been putting in work. Ain't nothing wrong with that.
Yes.
But me, personally, I got Kennedale coming out of
Yeah,
this thing. I'm
Kennedale.
staying with Kennedale. I'm staying over on the other side of 20, you know what I'm saying? Over when you pass Mountain Creek, I'm on that side of the town, you know what I mean? I'm a little biased. I said, I'm with all the Arlington schools, in particular Arlington Bowie, you know what I'm saying? I look at, and I know the head coach of that, Coach Diorman, they are poised for a good season this year. And he has a lot of talent on that roster. And, we're in a pretty favorable district. And I see us, I'm saying us,
Yeah.
Arlington Bowie, the Vols, the family, coming in and doing their thing, you know what I'm saying? And, hey, it's going to be good. There's good things over there, too, you know what I'm saying? Over on that side of town, you still got, Sam Houston, you got Martin, you got Arlington High. All of those schools are pretty, are going to be pretty good this year, too. So don't sleep on the Arlington schools, I can tell you that.
And they have plenty of them.
There you go. There you go. But, hey, this has been a good show. I've been appreciating it. Coach Rob, I appreciate you coming on the show with me, baby.
It was great.
Awesome.
I'm so ready for high school football.
Hey.
I'm ready to watch a game now.
Oh, yeah.
I'm really ready.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And, again, we're going to reiterate all the games that we're going to be covering. Coach Rob is going to let you guys know where we're going to be and all that good stuff on the big games coming up this year.
And starting off, we have our NTX game kickoff weekend. This is our first weekend of football, Texas high school football that you can log on to NTX game and check out. August 26th, we have DeSoto versus Dallas Jesuit. And August 27th, yes, very big game. We have the Lone Star Sports Classic in Beaumont featuring Bishop Dunn versus Deer Park, Ozen versus Episcopal, and Port Arthur versus Bay High. Shout out to Port Arthur.
And you guys stay tuned because there's going to be more big games that we're going to be announcing. So, hey, this has been Willie P with NTS Game.
Coach Rob.
And we'll see you the next time.
Peace.